All right, guys, a question we get a lot from all of you is how does the Mr. Cool run in the wintertime if we use it? We did just use it the other day and it worked out pretty well. We used the Mr. Cool to supplement heat while the wood stove was heating up the house, and it helped make the cabin warmer much quicker than usual. And so we're going to use just the Mr. Cool on the mini cabin to see how quickly it can heat it up. We're going to go shovel it out, and then we're going to check the temperature inside the mini cabin and see how long the battery can last and how quickly it can heat it up, because that's a question a lot of you have asked. A couple of you have emailed us and asked if that's a viable option for wintertime heat. So we're all going to find out today.
We haven't even used the Mr. Cool, I don't think, since we put the new system in, so it'll be a good test all around.
Yep.
So let's get over there, and we'll give you some numbers and try to keep track of things as best we can. Jen's got temperature sensor in there. Check our phone, see what time it is, and keep track of it as best we can for you guys.
It's a little after 1:30, I think.
So, a little after 1:30. Again, we're just kind of doing this. We don't have anything to do in there. We want to test it out and test all our stuff. That's the fun part about being off grid and using solar, is you get to experiment a little bit.
Yep, and hopefully we can help some of you that have had questions about the Mr. Cool and using it for wintertime.
Yep, the Mr. Cool is works really good. It's far more efficient for heating and cooling than using traditional air conditioning or traditional electric heat like baseboard heat. It uses a heat pump, so it just works way better. It uses way less electricity. It does not use no electricity. It uses a good amount still, but I would say it uses about 50% of what you would be using if you just used baseboard heat, or let's just say like just any kind of electric heat source, like those little space heaters and stuff. They draw like 1,500 watts. Our mini split Mr. Cool in the big cabin, when we were heating up the big cabin, was using around 900 watts to heat, which is still a lot, but we were only using it for a few hours.
Yeah, we only used it for a couple hours, and it was putting out heat within 20 minutes.
Yep.
So that was really exciting. So,
but we got to have good air. Go ahead, sir.
Yep. So mini cabin's much smaller too, so it's probably going to be able to heat up that mini cabin really quickly. So let's go.
Let's go start it off.
Instead of yakking your off, let's go get it done. It's a bit of snow over here. You're gonna have to go around.
Yeah, I will. So I have all the power. So I have all the power turned off to the mini cabin. I had it all turned off in the bunker too, but I just turned it back on. I'm gonna turn the breakers on here. I'm gonna have to replace this box or put it inside a little casing because it's not a waterproof box. But anyway, I'm gonna go shovel out the pump unit.
Little bit of snow over here, guys.
Yeah.
That's not that buried.
So guys, kind of like at the cabin, our big cabin, we have this facing downhill, and the back is to the cabin. So there's airflow behind it, and it doesn't get completely buried. It wasn't like purposefully done that way. Just kind of worked out to where there's not as much blockage. So hopefully this works. There's a bunch of snow. It's just snow, not ice. So
yeah, that's how the one on the cabin looked.
it'll spit out.
Yep.
So yeah, so let's go kick it on. It's all clear there. I'll come back and check it once we kick it on. Jen will check the temperature. Watch that right there. I don't know if that. Oh, it's like an ice rink over here.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just you be careful. It's like an ice rink over here for some reason. It's probably because it fell off the roof. Yeah, don't step on it and fall.
All right, the Govee says that it is 21 degrees in there, guys. 21 degrees.
21 degrees.
It's pretty flipping cold. So
Lights work. That's a good thing. So something to contend with. It's not like your house with forced air heat where you go from 65 degrees to 70 degrees and it's just warming up the air and the items. We're going from, like Jed said, 21 degrees, and everything in here is freezing as well. Like everything's cold. So it has to warm up the furniture as well. So let's turn around. So turn on so far. Let's go see if the
fans going on.
I think it took a few minutes for it to kick on, didn't it?
Yeah, you said you had turned it on and... Oh, it's trying. There we go.
Good.
Yep. Oh, there we go. It's on.
It takes probably 5 to 10 minutes for that heat pump to start collecting heat and heating out of the internal unit. So let's go inside there and see when it starts pumping.
Yep. Do you fancy yourself an outdoor shower right now?
Can't even get into the outdoor shower. It's frozen.
Go on, I'll get you some hot water.
All right, outdoor shower time.
This handle sucks on this door. This door kind of sucks. I love it, but might have to figure something else out.
Ooh, I can feel there's a very minute amount of heat like coming out of that, but it's not blowing hard yet. All right, guys, so we're gonna go work on maybe some projects outside for a little bit, give this some time. We got fiddle fart projects to do and nothing that we're probably gonna film much, or maybe we'll put in a different video if it is something relevant. So give us a few hours. A little after 1:30, everything's running. It's been running for 3 or 4 minutes. There is some heat coming out of there.
That's good.
Very small amount of heat.
So we'll not only be able to tell you how long it would take to heat it up, but how much battery juice it's using.
Yeah.
Also, because if you're off grid like us, some of you have smaller cabins like this and just weekend things would want to know if this would work. So
you could 100% have a mini cabin like this with a mini split and use solar like 80% of the time or 75% of the time if you had a big enough solar system in array. We just don't get enough sunshine here for 2 months.
Yes, it's so much different up here, guys, than it is for so many other YouTube channels you might watch.
Yeah. Like even downstate in lower Michigan, we get sun once or twice a week. Up here in the snow belt, we get that until the lakes freeze over. We get constant clouds and constant sun shade or cloudiness.
Yep.
So it's like literally 2 months. It's something to consider.
But
so
just so you know,
yeah,
some of you might think it's sunny for winter for you guys. It's not here.
It's not blowing hard yet, but it's blowing heat.
So that's exciting.
So let's go do something else, guys. We'll catch up with you. We'll give this. We'll try to update you once an hour. Jen will put a 1 hour. Jen will put a 1 hour
alarm on my phone, and we'll come over here and check.
And we'll catch up with you in a little while.
Yep.
And we'll get this mini cooler or this mini fridge out of here that had some beers left in it. And they're frozen and made a mess.
Made a mess, but it's all right. We'll clean it up. It's not the end of the
We
world.
haven't been in here in like 2 months.
No.
So let's get these beers out of here before they all explode.
All right. See you in an hour.
All right, so everything behind me here is for the main cabin. Right here in front of me is our large, this is considered a wall battery. It's 14.3 kilowatts. Here's our this is a 3500 watt all-in-one inverter. This battery is at 95%. So that should be around 14,000 watt hours. This is a, $2,500 battery? and I'm not sure. This is probably a $600, $600 all-in-one inverter. So this is like a $3,000 system that you could set up for a mini cabin. One giant battery, and that's more than enough power for a cabin. We ran off of our old system for 2 or 3 years with no more than 3,000 watt inverter. We just upgraded to experiment, and we had great sponsors and great companies that we work with, so we did that. So anyway, the power coming from our eco-worthy tracking system. This video isn't sponsored. We're just telling you what we have.
Yep, but this is a completely isolated, eco-worthy system.
Yep, and it's treated us pretty good. I mean, we haven't used it a ton yet, but we've been using eco-worthy products like the tracker for multiple years, and all this stuff is new to us. So we have some eco-worthy batteries, small batteries. So we're getting a little bit of solar charging.
All right, guys, it has been about 2 hours, so let's go on in here and check it out. Let me pull up my app. Like I said, it's been on for about 2 hours. We have it set to 70 degrees. And my phone says it's at 49.3 degrees. So it's warmed up about 20 degrees in 2 hours, which is pretty good. So we're going to ask OSJ how much battery power we've used. How much battery power have we used?
It's at 81%. We started at 95%.
Okay.
So we used 14%, and it's
gone up 20 degrees. So that's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
And once this temperature gets maintained, it's going to even use less power, right?
Yep.
So
and this cabin isn't like built for perfect efficiency. It's 2x4 walls, R13, 2x6 ceiling, so R19, and a single pane, thin door with single pane glass. So I mean, it's not built for efficiency. If you built a little bit differently, you could do even better, right?
Let you
We'll
guys
just
know.
leave it on until it goes dead. Let's drain that battery dead. It's good for batteries to calibrate and go from full to dead anyway once in a while. So let's drain it.
And then Jay
see what
can,
happens.
and see how long that battery would last. Because then that would be the equivalent, like I said, to almost 3 server rack batteries.
Yeah. So like I said, $3,000 system.
Mm-hmm.
Server rack batteries are anywhere from, like I've seen really cheap knockoff, brands for $600.
Yeah, and the
The
Vader and the
Vaders are
Eco-Worthies.
$799.
Yeah.
I think the Eco-Worthies are $799. So you got $2,400 worth of batteries and $600 all-in-one and a few wires.
Yep, which is way better than connecting to a grid.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's solar panels too. So I think this solar tracker system is $1,500 with the tracker and the panels.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, which is pretty good. So you got $5,000 system, max, which is a lot of money. I don't get me wrong, but there's worse things you could spend $5,000 on. And you could cheap it up a little bit. You don't need the tracking system. You could just buy
Some fixed panels.
1,000 watts worth of panels and lean them against your garage, or lean them, or build something out of lumber for a couple $100.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway,
We'll give you an update in a couple more hours. We're going to go for a puppy walk. We'll take you along maybe with us for a little bit of it, as long as the dogs are in butt heads.
you're not prepping the mini cabin for me to stay out there tonight, are you?
Well, depends. Depends on how well you behave.
Neither you or I have ever stayed in the mini cabin. I told Jenny we were gonna do a night out in the mini cabin, and we never did.
Just
We've had a
gotten
couple
busy.
guests now.
Yep.
All right, let's go
We'll
for
see
a
you in a
walk.
couple
and we'll
hours.
catch you guys up in a couple hours.
All right, guys, here we are 2 hours later. It's 2 o'clock. So let's go on inside and see what the temperature is. All right, so now it is 61 degrees, so it hasn't warmed up as much in the last 2 hours as it did the first 2 hours, but it's starting to be cozy in here. It's pretty exciting. We will check with Jay on the battery usage, but after 4 hours, it has heated up to 61 degrees.
How's it doing?
61 degrees in here.
So, one thing, I guess it's 31 or 33 degrees out now, right? 33, 34. Heat pumps work differently in different temperatures, so if it's really cold, it won't even necessarily heat this space up that hot.
Yeah, it would struggle.
But it's 34, so it should definitely heat this as hot as you want. So, we'll go check the battery.
And then we'll just let the battery run and see how long it lasts.
%67%.
Okay.
So,
Well, battery's gone down 33% and the temperature's kind of gone up 30.
not 30, 28%. It was at 95. It's not at 65 yet, so
Okay.
it's 28. 28%.
Okay.
And 28% is about 2,000 watts.
Okay.
So it's used 2,000 watts, so it's at average 500 watts an hour because
Okay.
it's been 4 hours. So that's good to know.
Yep.
All these little things will help somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe even if you got to your cabin and like we've done a few times in our big cabin, we turn the propane cook stove on for like an hour before the wood stove gets going and the mini split, and it kind of helps heat it up. So even if you did that in your mini cabin, not use the cook stove, but if you had like maybe even a buddy heater or a small propane heater that could jump start it, then you can just maintain with the mini split. So it's not really practical in the middle of winter to heat full time with that, but it could definitely be a supplement, and that's what we do a lot in the spring and fall with our cabin, is supplement it so we don't have to have a fire.
So we'll check back with you guys again in a couple hours and let you know how it's going. All right, guys, it is 4 o'clock. So we're checking in over here again. It's nice and cozy in here now. It's nice and cozy in here. It's like a freezing wet rain outside, so it's very pleasant in here. Anyways, I just checked my Govee app, and it says it's 66 degrees in here. So, Jay said the battery's at 63%. It hasn't warmed up a ton in here, and Jay said that's probably because the hot air rises, as we all know. And so it's probably 70 degrees up at the top. I'm going to kick this up just a little bit more to like 72, 73 and see if we can get it to 70 degrees in here. Because we don't have a fan or anything in here to push air around. So all that hot air is up top. And that's where the temperature sensor is. Right up there too. So it goes by that. So if we just kick this up a couple degrees, we should be able to get the air down here to 70. So we got it. I turned that up to 75. So let's see if it gets up to 70 here. Check it again in a little bit. And the battery's only gone down to 63%. So we will check that again in a little bit.
Hey guys, it's 6:30. We just got done eating dinner. The mini cabin has been running with the mini split since 10 o'clock. So it's been 8.5 hours. The battery started at 95%. The cabin started at 28. So let's go get you guys a little wrap up. Then we'll just do a real quick, at the very end of this video, stay tuned to see how long it lasts in the morning. Right now we're doing an update, but then we'll just do a little clip at the very end, so stay tuned till the end. We're going to leave this system going until the battery dies.
Let the battery fully die?
Yep. It might take another 24 hours, we don't know, but the battery had gone down about 30%. a little while ago. Last update, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jen turned it up to 75. Why'd you do that?
Oh, the temperature sensor is up there at the top of the unit, so heat rises, so it recognizes it being warm high and not down low. And so since I turned it to 75, it is now 72.5 in here. So it's pretty even.
It's very comfortable.
Which is good.
So, and we'll go check the bunker real quick and see what the status of the battery is. Let's just leave this running all night.
Okay.
Turn it down though. Like, everybody sleeps, what, 5 to 10 degrees cooler at night than during the day?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just leave this running. We'll leave the porch light on too, so it'd be like we're using the mini cabin, right?
Yeah, just give the battery a good run.
Yep. Go ahead and turn that down to, say, turn it down to like 67.
Oh.
There you go. There we go, 67. So that will be 67 in the morning. Probably be 65 right down here because it's up higher.
We'll see.
Let's see how much juice we lose overnight, and we'll give you a quick little update at the end of this video.
And then you'll know if a heat pump can work for you.
Yep. These are perfect for when you're on the grid because they're very efficient. And they're perfect for off the grid if you have a good system or it's not November, December, or December, January.
Yep.
So let's go check the battery, and then, like I said, we'll do a little quick insert at the very end. Alright guys, so since we turned the mini split down, we're only drawing 2.5 amps into that system totally, and the battery's at 45%. So it took a pretty good hit the last couple hours, right?
But overall, pretty good, right?
Yeah, I mean, we used 50% of the battery to heat it up, get it comfortable through the whole day, 8.5 hours. Let's see if it lasts through the night. All right, we'll catch up with you in just a minute.
See you in the morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody. It's a little after 9 o'clock the next morning, the day after we ran the mini split with the mini cabin solar system. Jen's cooking breakfast, so she told me just to come out here and do a quick update, get things rolling. Front porch light is off, so that's not a good sign. I don't know exactly what time it died, or I assume it died. This is on a light switch, or a daytime off, but I think it's done. It should still be on. It's so dark and dingy out. Yep, everything. Alright, so everything died. So what's the temperature in here? Let's see what the battery, I'm assuming it's completely dead. Hopefully, we never ran this system dead. Completely dead. That's... Alright. The best way right now to jumpstart this system, let's plug this into the main system and see if we can jumpstart everything. So we got AC power. I'm hoping this kicks on, because otherwise I'm going to be a sad boy. There we go. Ooh, I had worried. So there it started. No power. Showing no lithium power, no voltage. Hopefully this can... There's an error. There's... Oh, that's going to power now. It's powering the mini cabin. Yep, the front porch light came on. Says it's charging the battery now. Number 3 air, I assume, is low voltage. Oh, our front screen came on. Says 17%. Alright, but it says 50 volts. That's with incoming power to it. So, it says 47 amp hours left, but I try to have the settings on these all-in-one inverters to kill the power a little early. Or maybe I just did it inadvertently. Turn the low voltage cutoff a little higher than minimum. I don't like to take it to 0%, especially in the winter. In the summer, you could take it down to 0% and then recharge it quickly with solar. With this, if it goes dead and I forget about it and then it sits there and self-drains for a little while, it could hurt the battery. So, alright, well, we're up and rolling. So we're basically sucking 700 watts from this system and putting it into this system. That's the easiest way to charge this. I have this little generator here. I ran that. That works too. This is just temporary, like for a month or two. Like a couple months of the winter time. Like, I don't want to scare you guys away from solar, and I know I'm going to hear it in the comments about how solar doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work for 2 months, but that doesn't mean the other 10 months of the year where it works wonderfully for us in our application, that we shouldn't use it. That doesn't mean we should spend $100,000 to run power back here. It just doesn't make sense to do that when we can use the solar equipment, and it's, we're more independent this way. So anyway, 17% that battery says it's at. We're up and charging. I might run the big generator today just to top off all my batteries, but they're all pretty good. They're all at like 70%. %, 50%, 65, 63, 62, 66. All these are pretty good over here. 60%. So, battery went dead. We cannot heat a mini cabin for 24 hours with a $5,000 system. Now, that is in the dead of winter with zero solar and cold temperatures. And I don't know what the status of the mini cabin is as far as temperature. It was pretty cold in there. That cabin is not built for efficiency. So I hope you guys can learn something from this. Even with that mini split being more efficient than just straight up electric heat, it's going to be pretty much impossible with zero solar input, unless you have a system like as big as our main cabin system, where you have 70,000 watt hours instead of 15,000 watt hours, which is still a big system for most applications. You're not going to be able to heat with a mini split without some kind of supplementation. So I went out there to tell them the status of the temperature, and I don't have a way of knowing what the temperature of the mini cabin is. Alright, so the mini cabin is at 44 degrees, Jen said. She checked her app.
So I kept it. I mean, it's not warm, but...
It's not warm, but it was only... We turned it down to 65, so it must have been running till some hours of the morning.
Yeah.
And so that shows you that you cannot heat a cabin full-time with a mini split. Mini split is perfect for supplemental heat. Mm-hmm. Kind of like we do spring and fall. And summer we use it for AC, but spring and fall we can use it without making a fire. It reduces our need for running the wood stove for like 3 or 4 months of the year. So you can run that rather than start a fire and cook yourselves out of your cabin. Mm-hmm. So that's what it's perfect for. If you have the grid, it actually works great and you're not in such cold weather climate. Like if you're down south, you could use a mini split. That's perfect for that too. Mm-hmm. So our neighbor that helps us out all the time, a lot of you guys know neighbor John. He has a mini split and a wood stove. It's a good combination, but you do need an alternate heat source if you're going to go off grid. Even with solar and a mini split, you're going to need either propane heat, a wall heater, or wood stove. So we hope someone learned something here. If you guys have any experience with mini splits and heating small spaces in the wintertime, how you've done it, let us know. We used the diesel heater last year before the mini split, so maybe we'll have to use a combination of the diesel heater in the winter and the mini split for the other 8 to 9 seasons, or 9 months of the year.
Cabin.
Yeah, so let us know if you have anything to share, anything you could help people out with. Help us. Like, what would you do? And, hope you guys enjoyed watching us experiment with this system and learn ourselves as well. You guys have a great day. Best wishes, and we'll hope to see you in the next one.